You've seen the articles, right? You've heard the advice. There's this secret formula for success, this daily blueprint that all the world's most accomplished people follow. But what if that blueprint, what if it's the very thing that's holding you back? Yeah, we're constantly told that success is built on this foundation of, super disciplined habits. The idea is really simple, isn't it? Just copy the routines of the most successful people, and bam, you'll get the same results. And hey, it's an incredibly appealing promise. It offers what looks like a clear path right to the top.
And this is usually what that path looks like. The blueprint seems so clear. Wake up before the sun, plan everything meticulously, meditate, exercise, and crush your most important task before most people have even had their first cup of coffee. You win the morning, you win the day. Simple, right?
Well, for so many of us, trying to force our lives into this rigid, one-size-fits-all schedule, it doesn't lead to peak performance. No, it leads to frustration, to fatigue, and it's just awful feeling of failure. So why is it that a routine supposedly designed for success so often just leads to pure exhaustion? This brings us to a really crucial distinction, the difference between a helpful, healthy structure and just harmful monotony. Because when a routine loses its purpose and becomes this repetitive, soulless grind, it starts to work directly against us. And the end result of that relentless grind is a word we all know way too well: burnout. And look, this isn't just about feeling a little tired. It's a deep state of exhaustion where you feel completely overwhelmed, emotionally drained, and just unable to meet the demands of your day. It's the price we pay for pushing against our natural limits for way, way too long. And this right here is the core of the problem. So on one hand, a healthy routine can be incredible. It gives you structure, it frees up precious mental energy. But on the other hand, when that routine becomes this unvarying, monotonous cycle, it just stifles creativity and totally crushes your motivation. The secret isn't getting rid of routines. It's about finding the right kind of routine for you. So what if the problem isn't a lack of discipline at all? What if the real issue is that we're fundamentally ignoring our own biology? It turns out every single one of us has this hidden clock in our brain, and it literally dictates when we're naturally at our very best. This internal clock is known as your chronotype. And get this, it's a hardwired biological trait that determines your personal rhythm for peak performance. And it is so much more nuanced than just being a morning person or a night owl. It's the unique timing of your brain's cycles of focus, creativity, and recovery. It's your personal code. And this isn't just some cool theory either. A fascinating study from the Wharton Neuroscience Initiative and Slalom actually put this to the test. They measured the creative output of people at different times of the day to see if working in sync with your chronotype really makes a difference. And the results perfectly illustrate something called the synchrony effect. When the morning people, or larks, were tested at 10 a.m., their biological peak time, their performance on creativity tasks was significantly higher. We're talking more ideas, more varied ideas, and way more original ideas. And for the evening people, the owls, the story completely flips. Their creative peak hit in the afternoon, around 4 p.m. When they worked in sync with their biology, their performance just soared. This proves the key isn't a specific time on the clock. It's the alignment of the task with your internal clock. But here's the thing. It's not just when you work that matters. It's also about the quality of that work. And this brings us to another powerful scientific concept that explains peak performance: the flow state. You know that feeling, right? Being so completely in the zone that you're just absorbed in a task, and the outside world, even your own internal worries, it all just seems to fade away. Time kind of distorts, and your performance feels almost effortless. That feeling? That is flow, and it's the holy grail of deep, truly productive work. So the key to unlocking flow is finding this perfect balance. See, if a task is too easy for your skill level, you get bored and your mind starts to wander. If it's way too difficult, you become anxious and stressed out. The magic of flow happens right in that sweet spot where the challenge perfectly matches and stretches your abilities. Okay, so how do we piece all of this together? How can we use our new understanding of chronotypes and flow to escape the monotony and actually design a day that works for us? We need a new blueprint, one that's personalized for your brain. This chart right here, this is your new guide. The science suggests we all have 3 distinct phases in our day. During your biological peak, that's when you tackle your most demanding analytical work, high-stakes stuff.
Then, when you hit your trough, that natural dip in energy, that's the perfect time for administrative tasks, like finally clearing your inbox. And during your recovery period, when your mind is more relaxed, you're actually surprisingly primed for creative brainstorming and solving those big, open-ended problems. So this all comes together in a new 4-step blueprint. First, you gotta understand your own biology. Find out your real chronotype. Second, schedule your day intelligently by matching your tasks to your energy flow. Third, build positive rituals you actually enjoy, things that reward your brain. And finally, number 4, purposefully inject novelty into your week to fight that monotony and keep your mind sharp and stimulated. Ultimately, true productivity isn't about more discipline or forcing yourself into some pre-made box. It's about working smarter, not harder, by aligning your work with your own unique biological rhythm. So the real question isn't how to follow someone else's blueprint for success, but how you can design your own.